criminal more than they hate an intelligent black man or an intelligent black woman, you really are a threat to national security. What's going on, El Haj Harris? How you doing? Andre Clark, Jimmy Panette Trenard, M. Powell. M. Powell's in here first. That's what's going on. Good to see you. Very good to see you. Let's see. Irene, Renee, SD Primus. Boys, what do you think about Robert Smith? I think Robert Smith is cool. I haven't heard anything bad about him. I don't have any beefs with him at all, or any issues or whatsoever. I've heard of him though. I haven't seen. He's a rich guy. I know that. As always, you kind of sometimes maybe you want people to do more, but you have to be really careful about asking people to do more because number one, people get mad at you when you hold other black folks accountable. For a long time, people would get really mad if you said, some black millionaire should do more for the black community. They'd say, oh, keep your hands out of his pockets and stop, telling him what to do with his money. And, that's where you get the Floyd Mayweathers from and people that just don't really seem to have any sort of intelligence or consciousness about what they do with their money. I would really honestly say at the end of the day, I think that if we had more conscientious and intelligent millionaires, and they all really felt compelled to really solve certain problems, a lot of problems will get solved pretty much overnight. White folks, one thing white folks are doing is they actually have this thing where a bunch of billionaires are giving away 99% of their wealth or something crazy like that. I think Warren Buffett is part of it. And so they just see a problem and they see their money as an opportunity to solve it. It's really only the black community that kind of has this sort of rule that we've applied to for a very long time, that black millionaires and black entertainers and successful black people don't owe anything to the black community. And so, like, for example, what I've seen is saying, but Beyonce can sign what she wants. I just want to know about her impact for the blacks overall. Right. So nothing wrong with your comment, but I hear that a lot. And that was one of the reasons why I was actually hesitant to even address this topic, because I know my people, I know my black folks. And I know that when you bring up anything that involves asking a celebrity to do a little bit more or to consider doing more, there are always going to be people that are going to get mad. Like Beyonce has the Beehive, and she just, the Beehive, some of them, pretty fanatical, and she can do no wrong. And so, they're going to say what they're going to say. It's their right to feel that way. I'm not here to fight the Beehive because I told you I'm not fighting over black people in 2019. I'm fighting white supremacy. That's it. I'm also going to fight against our goals. I'm going to fight against our hurdles, our challenges, so that we can overcome those in this generation and the next. Now, do me a favor as we get started. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. Also, let's do this quick city shout out. Shout out your business, your city, or your dream. Your city, your business, or your dream. This is a space for intelligent black people. So if you're not black or intelligent or both, you might want to get the fuck out. So let me see here. I see Tarita says, they don't give me is a white thing. Okay, I don't know what that means, but I'll figure it out. Let's see here. Bro, they ain't white. Yeah, that's true. They're not all white. Some of them are though, but it's a white people thing. Like it's not like a big black community thing. But then again, though, you're right. They're not all white. Oprah's in there, but then again, maybe Oprah is white. So let's see here. When you're going to try to dig Michael Jackson's dead body up, I'm starting to question who you're really working for. And I thought that was trifling what you did to Michael Jackson. I don't think that was appropriate behavior. Let's see. I see Augusta and Tempest Pines Group, Fort Wayne, Indiana, owner operator, says TC Rogers. What Dr. Boyce dating in the house. So I love that. Tarita, let's see. I see Thea Parker from Atlanta. Jimmy from Fort Lauderdale. Precious Henry. Hey, what's going on, brother? Idris, you tripping, bro. We long had a tradition of giving back to our communities, even Beyonce. So, boys, you need to shut the fuck up, man. You old whack ass nigga, you motherfucking ass punk ass nigga. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. DP Smith, good to see you from McDonough, Georgia. Norris Durant from Toronto. Leslie Gregory, here's my dream, my clinical approach to the health impacts of racism. Good for you. I like that. Somebody click over her URL, support that sister. Give us some support. Nicole Petit, she is an author out of Huntsville. Yes, Nicole, of course, I know Nicole Petit. Everybody knows Nicole Petit. She does Your Black World News and Platinum Being Queen and all that good stuff. She's so smart. Let's see, Deb O'Neill. See Rob from Chicago. It's a cool look for HBCUs, but that might be it. Shantae from Louisville. Yeah, so let's jump into this real quick. Here's what I was gonna throw. Here's what I want to throw out there, right? This is for. I always have to repeatedly let you guys know, like, this is a space for intelligent black people. So, if you're into ignorant shit and you just see things one dimensionally and can't see other perspectives, this is probably not the place for you. Like, this is probably not, like, you probably, maybe you want to go like see if Empire's on or some shit, or you want to go and whatever. Like, I don't know if they do, maybe they're doing the electric slide at your church or something. I don't know, but this might not be the spot for you, because I'm into sort of exploring ideas and thinking things through and figuring things out. And so I asked those questions, those questions that have always gotten me into trouble. Since I was a little kid, my mother used to say, boy, your mouth will either make you great or get you killed. I'm curious to see which one. And so to this day, it still continues. I did this when I was 7. I would ask my mama questions that would get me popped in my mouth, and I still do it. I still ask the questions that are going to make people upset. But this is a question that's not meant to make anybody upset. My goal is to make you think. So even if you hate my guts, even if you don't agree with me, even if you call me a son of a bitch, I know that because I am not a stupid person, that the reason that you call me a son of a bitch, the reason you're mad is because I made you think. And that means I accomplished my goal. That means I made you consider another perspective. So let's lay this out. Let's talk about this. Let's start from the beginning. Beyonce is cool with me, right? Let's start with that right there. Like, I have no issues with Beyonce. I had issues with Jay-Z and Beyonce years ago. Let me tell y'all just a little secret, something that the public doesn't really know. I don't talk about it that much. But back in 2013, there's a lot of things that I've seen that have happened that I don't talk about much, because I kind of feel like blabbing about private stuff is kind of breaking code. But it's 5 years later, 6 years later, so I can talk about this. 6 years ago, Russell Simmons and I were working on a campaign to fight mass incarceration. And we wrote this letter to President Obama, and we asked him to address the mass incarceration epidemic. And it was really tough. It really disappointed me, because I thought that the Obama administration would be very happy that we very politely came to them and asked them to help us to get, people out of prison. Because remember, mass incarceration ain't over. It ain't over till they let people out. These people are still in prison. If you're a black woman and you've been looking for your husband, the man of your dreams, he's probably in jail right now. He's in a parallel universe. You're married, you have 2 kids, but in this universe, they're all still locked up because Bill Clinton decided to lock up every black person in sight. He decided to be our version of Adolf Hitler. That's why I can't support the Democrats. So here's the thing. So we went to the Obama administration. We thought that maybe they would be interested in supporting this initiative. And we got a lot of people to sign the letter, a lot of celebrities, from everybody from Charlamagne the God to Will and Jada Smith, Jamie Foxx. Even people like Lil Wayne signed, and even the Kardashians signed. I mean, just all these people that Russell knew. I knew a few scholars and activists, but I didn't know. I don't hang with celebrities. I don't really want to be friends with that many celebrities like that. So anyway, we got all these people to sign this letter, and it made the White House very, very nervous. I got a sense that they were very upset. In fact, I know they were very upset. Me and Russell talked about it. They were very upset that we were even politely asking the Obama administration to do what they needed to do. But to Russell's credit, he stuck to his guns. Russell, they got in his face. They stopped inviting him to celebrity parties and all that other stuff. They stopped. He wasn't in the in crowd no more. That's how Obama kept black people under control. They knew that it was trendy and cool to be friends with Barack. So all the celebrities, in exchange for their silence, would get to come to the White House Christmas party or take pictures with the president. But you notice none of them showing up asking for no real policy. They were just showing up for a motherfucking photo op. Excuse my French, I don't mean to cuss, but it's true. And so anyway, but Russell was one of the few people that didn't want a photo op. He said, "Look, I don't care if I don't get invited, into the White House." He said, "I got friends that are in Rikers Island that've been there for 15 years on a weed charge. I got friends that died, up in Pelican Bay or wherever, in different prisons. I have relatives and loved ones that are still locked up because you locked them up in 1992." Because they were selling cocaine and you haven't even thought about letting them out. And so he gave all that up, and I respected that, because I wasn't giving up all that. The Obama administration people, they already knew kind of what I was. I was already marginalized. I'm a scholar and all that. And they know that I'm out there. They've always known I was out there, but they kind of knew where I stood and that I wasn't easy to work with, whereas Russell was in the in crowd. And so anyway, I remember I asked him, I said, it was great you got all these people signing this letter. I said, did you get Beyonce and Jay-Z? He said, man, I can't get Jay to do nothing. And basically saying, I can't get Jay to do anything, and I was like, wow, damn, why won't he sign? Everybody else is signing now. I mean, literally got to the point where so many people were signing that Eric Holder had to make an announcement. He made an announcement that the Obama administration was shifting its policies on mass incarceration. And that announcement happened to come the day after our letter was released. and it was right after our letter was released that actually, believe it or not, the little white boy, Justin Bieber, I have to give him props because Justin Bieber tweeted the hashtag. Was it in the war on drugs, and it became the number 3 most trended hashtag in the world. And so all these millions of people were reading the letter I wrote to Obama. I wrote the letter, and Russell's people read it after I wrote it, but I wrote the letter. And so they said, well, we got to do something because the Negroes are actually asking us for something. We didn't expect that. And so, but I remember, being very disappointed that Jay-Z and Beyonce wouldn't do anything. They would just sit there silently like this royal family. And they still kind of do that. They're still very quiet. They don't really get involved in much anything, which I think is a good strategic move for them. But, and now it's not a problem because they've shown enough to let you know that they're willing to stand up for something. And I respect that. But at the same time, at that time, they were just sort of being very quiet. And when they did talk, they would talk about something silly, ignorant, or materialistic. I mean, back in the day, if you remember, 8 years ago, Jay-Z was not rapping the way he's rapping now. Like it was years later that he did 444 and kind of turned the corner. And that's when my perception of Jay-Z turned the corner too. My opinion of him evolved as a result of his evolution as an artist. That's why I have respect for him now. I respect Beyonce's crew now. And I remember getting on the phone with Beyonce's tour manager and talking to him for 3 hours and basically debating him. And I remember saying long ago, I was like, it doesn't matter what Jay-Z believes in his heart. And he's like, oh, well, Jay-Z's really cool. Jay-Z believes this and believes it. I said, I don't care what he believes. I want to know what you say. What you do is what matters to the world. It's not what you believe. Like I could, if I work at Burger King and my relative comes in, and they're starving and they say, hey, can you give me a cheeseburger? And I say, well, I believe that you deserve to eat. I believe that I'd like to get you some food. I believe that I love you enough to feed you, but I'm gonna have to let you starve today because I don't want to lose my job. Well, I mean, some people will say, oh, well, you don't want to lose your job, blah, blah, blah. But some people will say, no, that's not loyal. That's not, who cares what you would do, what you woulda, coulda, shoulda did. What matters is what you actually do. So basically, the Black folks in general, in terms of the way our slavery kind of works, and we have poor slaves and we got wealthy slaves. The way slavery works and the way the money controls Black people. This is why I think economic intelligence is so important for our community. Nipsey Hussle talked about it. I've been talking about it for 15, 20 years. A lot of people, Dr. Claude Anderson, have been talking about it for 40, 50 years. Economic intelligence is very important because your economic situation is what controls a lot of what you do in your life. How many of y'all know about people who want to do certain things but can't do it because they're scared to lose their job? How many people do you know, like, if you tell me, like, hey, we should go, or we should speak out on this, or we should do this and do that, and they're like, yeah, I would, but I can't because I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to get in trouble. Yes or no? Tell me if you know somebody who, if they had plenty of money, if they were in a good financial situation, they might go cuss out their boss. They might be putting different stuff on their Facebook page. Some people are scared to even post certain things on Facebook because their coworkers are watching. Their white coworkers have friended them on Facebook and they're scared to death, right? That's because their financial power over you controls everything that you do. It controls your life, So if you want freedom, get financial freedom. That's a good first step. So, but the thing is, being a financial slave doesn't mean you're poor. There are wealthy financial slaves also. And I'm not saying Beyonce is a financial slave. I think Beyonce is Beyonce. She's doing what she does. Beyonce's had a flawless career. I have mad respect for her in that regard. But one of the questions I want to openly ask is about, this whole, I saw, what was it? Homecoming, this thing she did on Netflix, which was really good. She went out and did her damn thing. Beyonce, every time she comes out, what she, presents is always really good. It's always like original and creative, and people just love that. And I admire the fact that she's able to get that kind of love on a consistent basis for 20 years. But the thing is, I saw HBCUs everywhere, and me and Alicia were talking about this, and it was like, that's so great. She's repping HBCUs. That's a good first step. Like, that's a good step, right? But then, I read an article today, and these are one of many articles I've read. And in the article, basically, they talked about how HBCUs are dying financially. How HBCUs are going to be, half of all your HBCUs are going to be bankrupt in about the next decade. Did y'all know that? Yes or no? Tell me if you knew that. Yes or no? Did you know that the HBCUs, half of your HBCUs are going to be gone in a decade? Experts have predicted that half of all historically Black colleges, especially the private ones, are going to be gone in less than 10 years. Did you know that? Yes or no? David, did you know that? Sandra, Kenneth, or Nisa, did you know that? Did anybody who knew that? HBCUs are in trouble financially, right? So what I'm saying is, you know, is anybody going to say something about this, or am I am I the only asshole who's going to be out here getting attacked by the beehive because I see an opportunity for us to really solve an important problem? You know, am I going to be the son of a bitch who gets hung up from a tree because they mad because you done disrespected Queen Beyonce by how dare you express your opinion? I got this when Dr. Dre gave 30 million or 70 million, 30 or he gave half of $70 million to USC. And I stood with the president of I think it was Xavier College. I can't remember this president's name, but he was a good brother, real smart man, who wrote a really nice, polite article in the LA Times where he basically said, "Come on, bro, you gave 70 million to USC. Do you know that USC's endowment? An endowment is basically a big pile of money that the universities have that allow them to fund their operations and maintain financial security. Do you know that USC's endowment is greater than the endowment of every HBCU in America combined times 5? Do you know that means if you take all the endowments, and I'm mistaken, let me go double check this just to be sure. But do you know that if you take all the endowments of every HBCU in America, add them all up, and then multiply by 5, you still wouldn't match USC? So please excuse me when I ask, why the fuck do we got Negroes lining up to give money to rich white people? How mentally ill do you have to be to even think that that makes any sense in any universe? That don't make sense on no planet in the solar system. Like there's no type of mathematics you can do that will make that decision one that makes any sense. I want to say thank you, K Boogie, for the donation. I appreciate your support. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. Please hit the thumbs up button. And if you support Intelligent Black Media and you would like to help us to spread our message throughout the world, please go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. And also, if you want to buy cool T-shirts like this, like we like to talk shit on our T-shirts, feel free to go to blackwealthtees.com. Blackwealthtees, Tees, blackwealthtees.com. And hit the thumbs up button if you haven't hit the thumbs up button. So this past week, going back to Beyonce, forget Dr. Dre and his money. I mean, it just so y'all know, another little funny story. I went to Compton, South Central, to do a presentation. I spoke at the place that's run by my brother, who started Karenga, the brother who started Kwanzaa, and so I spoke there, and the support was wonderful. It was fully packed, and there was a guy there named Alonzo, who was the guy that introduced Eazy-E and Dr. Dre and created NWA. And Alonzo was at the event. And Alonzo, he said, "Yeah, your article about Dr. Dre, where you questioned his donation to USC," he said, "I shared it on my page. And since that time, Dre has blocked me. Like, he won't work with me anymore." And I just said, "Well, I appreciate the fact that you made him a little bit uncomfortable, because I do think that we kind of have to make people a little bit uncomfortable, not to the point where we're being just incredibly rude, but to the point where you're asking questions that make sense." Thank you, yes, Malena Karenga. You have to ask questions. You gotta kind of challenge a little bit. Like, you can let people know that I still love you. I still think you're great. I still think Bootylicious and all your Beyonce songs are awesome. I mean, I know I'm not a Beyonce type of dude, right? But I know people that are, and it's not a bad thing. But I think at the end of the day, when you're looking at what celebrities are doing with their money, if you're using hood credibility to build your brand, then some would say that you do owe something to the hood. You do. Dr. Dre owes money to the hood because the hood gave him all his street cred. Nipsey Hussle understood that. Like, Nipsey Hussle was a guy, he's loved by the world because Nipsey Hussle was a guy who understood. Look, I'm making all this. I'm out here, repping the Crips. I'm repping South Central, and I got that Compton credibility that I get. I got T-shirts on that say Crenshaw and whatnot. So I owe a tax to the people that gave me my brand. I owe a tax to the people that sign off on my legitimacy as a hip hop artist. I owe them something. So Nipsey was giving back, not just because he was a nice guy, but he was giving back because that's what you're supposed to do, right? And so With Beyonce giving back, I think the question is not whether she gives back, because she does. She has given back. She's made donations to HBCUs. She did that thing on Netflix, Homecoming, which repped HBCUs, gave them a lot of great publicity. I thought that was totally awesome. Um, but I think that there can be more done, and I don't think it will cost Beyonce a dime. And I addressed this before. I'm addressing it again because I really would love for this concept to gain traction. So if anybody knows, I don't know Beyonce, I don't know Jay-Z, I know people that know them, and I've reached out to, I've let them know what I'm thinking. But if you know them, or Beyonce happens to be watching, just know that this is brought to you with complete respect. I'm not a politically correct person. I offend people all the time. So if I'm offensive, then just take it up to, just chalk it to the fact that I'm an asshole. But I hope that the idea can be sort of considered, you know, disconnected, disjointed from what you think about my approach and how I'm bringing it up. Because sometimes I get frustrated. I don't know about you. Tell me if you ever have days where you wake up and you're just pissed off about being black, like you're just mad at your community, like you're just mad as hell about the state of your people. Like you feel like we could do so much better, we could have so much more, we could be in such a better position. And so it's almost like a basketball game where your team is losing by 20 points because you're missing layups. And you're like, what the fuck, man? Like if you're a winner, then you're probably angry. If you're a winner in the black community and you believe our people can win, then you're probably pissed off when you see so many people run around thinking that they're losers, acting like losers, ending up in the loser's position. The more, in fact, Black history can be very frustrating because the more you learn about how great Black people are, the more angry you get about the state of Black people in America. Like you're like, wait a minute, we are, we we are the Golden State Warriors, and we're playing like a team that's worse than the LA Lakers were this year. We're supposed to be winning NBA championships, but we can't even get to the playoffs because y'all playing around. So I think that we have to, as a community, don't worry about my backdrop. Thank you very much for the comment on the backdrop. I appreciate it, but don't worry about the backdrop. Pay attention to me. Look in my eyes. Okay, we're not focused on what's in the background. This is a cup of coffee and a bottle of water, but I don't want you to comment on the coffee or the water. I want you to comment on the topic. Focus on the idea. Let's not get distracted here. All right. So the point is that I think sometimes if you see me get mad and cussing and going crazy, it's because I believe that we can do anything white people can do. And I'm a competitor. I'm a winner. I want to win. And tell me if you're a winner. If you're a winner or are you a loser? Somebody tell me, answer me, talk black to me. Are you a winner or are you a loser? How many winners do we got winners in the room? If you're a winner, then this is a great place for you because winners focus on possibilities. Winners focus on opportunities. Winners focus on investing to be in a better position to win more games next season. That's what winners do. If you're a winner, raise your hand. Tell me that you're a winner. Losers can't do that. Winners look forward and up. Losers look down and they look back. A loser is somebody who doesn't look at the possibilities that we have if we go out and we take a chance. That's what a winner does. That a loser will look at all the things that will go wrong if it don't work out. Like the winners in your family are people that say, yeah, we can start a family business. We can all get together and you can come in and you can do this and I can do that. And I got a little money and I got a little this and blah, 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 right? That's what the winners in your family do. And then they run into the losers. The losers in your family are the people that are like, well, if you quit that good job and your business don't work out, you're gonna go bankrupt again. And you can't afford it because you got 2 kids and you can't go back there and do that, but you got kids. I mean, come on now. Like seriously, just negative, always telling you why it ain't gonna work. And the thing about it is that when somebody spends all their time telling you why something isn't gonna work, the hard part about it is that they're usually correct. The problem is that it doesn't help you solve the problem. Instead of seeing a challenge as a problem that is to be solved, many of us see a challenge as an obstacle that cannot be hurdled, that cannot be surmounted. So for example, when people talk about building a Black Wall Street, I've literally heard Black people say, well, why should we build a Black Wall Street? Because if we build it, all white people are going to do is tear it down. Well, that's a true fact. White people will come and try to get that ass. They are going to come try to take everything you got. If they see you growing, they're going to come and get and launch missiles on top of your forehead. But a person who's a winner hears that information and says, okay, you're right. How do we make sure we have adequate security or some mechanism in place to protect and secure Black Wall Street when we build it so we can minimize the probability that they tear it down? right? Or if I tell you I'm going to climb Mount Everest, and you could give me 8,000 reasons why I might not get to the top of the mountain. But the fact that people have climbed Mount Everest before means that you're not really helping me by telling me all the reasons why it won't work. You can warn me, you can tell me about all the things I need to fix, but you can't help me by telling me all the reasons why I can't climb the mountain, because you're lying to me. You're telling me that something's impossible, where really it's not impossible. It's just really difficult to do. So for Black people, we have to get a winner's mentality, and so going back to that, I think in our community, the frustration does come from the fact that there are winners in our community. There are people who are not out here in the Black community who are not built to lose. And I think in my life, growing up as a Black boy who was dealing with oppression and dealing with racism and dealing with people telling me I was less than and internalizing that, I remember being very frustrated because I felt like I could do more. I remember also being very angry about it. I also remember almost finding out about my greatness on accident. Like I was like, wait a minute, how am I doing this great, extraordinary thing? I'm just a dumb nigga. Like, how am I at the top of the class? I'm a second class citizen. I'm not supposed to be doing it. So I would have these hints of greatness. And then one day I was like, wait a minute, I was great all along, but I just didn't know it. Like I had been lied to so much that I thought like I was the thin girl who thought she was fat, right? Because you got thin people that really think they're fat, or So anyway, going back to that, let's keep going. Okay. So I made that point to just explain something, and I hope that helps you to get the context of this. So with Beyonce, long story short, she signed this deal with Netflix for $60 million. It's a 3-project deal. And one of the projects has been done, and that's the show Homecoming that she just did about HBCUs. It's a good look, good marketing for HBCUs, etc. Problem is HBCUs are dying. HBCUs don't just need some publicity. HBCUs need funding. They need money. Did you all know that college graduates, Black college graduates, have a 50% likelihood of defaulting on their student loans? Do you know how devastating that is to your family wealth? Do you know that that's why the Black wealth gap is growing? It's growing because of student loans, because we are getting all this debt going to college and we can't pay it back. And so when you can't pay the debt back, you die in debt. Go read up on it. It's on my Facebook page. You guys follow me on Facebook. Go find it there. There's an article in the New York Times where they detail it. They go in detail and they explain not just that student loan debt is out of control, but as Tavis Smiley used to say, when America gets sick, Black people get pneumonia. So when student loans are bad for everybody else, they're horrible for everybody else. They are a fucking nightmare for Black people. Like they're at a level of devastation that you can't even imagine, to the point where we're throwing away a couple $1 trillion every generation, giving it away to big prestigious white universities. That's why when you see the gentrification epidemic, much of the gentrification occurring in your Black communities right now is happening because some big white university in your hood. Tell me if I'm lying. Tell me if you've seen any of this. Somebody talk Black to me on this. Tell me if you see this, where there is some big gigantic university run by white people that is buying up all the buildings in the hood. Right? Go to Cleveland, that big medical center, buying up all the damn buildings in the hood. Go to Syracuse, the university, buying up all the buildings in the hood. USC, down near South Central, buying up all these buildings in the hood because they got all this money. They got money to burn. They have money to burn, and they're burning your money. They have your money. They're doing this with your money. They're doing this with the $1 billion a year the NCAA takes by using your athletes and not paying them. That's where they're getting the money for this. So ultimately, this student loan issue is destroying Black wealth. And that's why if you keep doing the same thing that we did the last generation, you're going to keep going backwards. I'm just going to tell you like that. University of Chicago, thank you. UIC ain't too far from where I lived. I mean, it's insanity. It's ridiculous. So what I'm trying to say is that going back to HBCUs and our college students, they need some help, man. If I was sitting with Beyonce and she did exactly what I told her to do, which I don't think she would, why the hell would she listen to me? I'm just a guy running his mouth on the internet. But if I was sitting with Beyonce and her crew, I would probably say, why don't we help these schools in a way that's going to put some money in their pocket? One of the rules that I'm actually putting in my book on the Black Economic Code is to try to be a friend to somebody where you can actually help them pay some bills. It's one thing if I'm your friend and I'm encouraging you or I hang out with you, I watch TV with you, or I go to the movies with you. It's another thing when I'm really helping you solve a real problem in your life, right? Because ain't nothing going on but the rent. Ain't nothing going on but that damn mortgage. Ain't nothing going on but feeding them kids. So, I think we need to have more friends that we can do business with, more friends that can actually help us to pay bills, right? And so ultimately, I think that with Beyonce and the HBCUs, I would like to encourage them to be the friend of HBCUs that are helping them to pay bills. If you are not helping them to pay bills, then some will say that you're not helping them at all, right? So here's what she could do that I don't think will cost so much anything. You're Beyonce, you're Jay-Z, you're the king of the earth and the queen of the earth, right? So you got all the money, you got a ton of money. You could write $10 million checks and it wouldn't be too, it wouldn't hit you, it wouldn't set you back too much. But let's assume you don't want to write no checks. That's cool. Just use your contacts. You have $1 billion worth of contacts and connections and $1 billion worth of influence. Find your 100 best friends, who are celebrities. Michelle Obama just dropped a book. She's going to make 80 million off of that, right? You got these athletes, NBA players who just signed $120-130 million contracts, and raise money for them. Raise money for the HBCUs the same way our black asses was raising money for the motherfucking Democratic Party. Like, raise money for the HBCUs the way the black celebrities were raising money for the Democrats. Excuse my French, because you remember the Democrats wasn't fucking around. They wasn't just like, we don't just want you to be our friend. We want to get together with you, and we're going to raise money. We need Hillary's war chest to have $250 million instead of just 200 million. So when we come see you, Beyonce and Jay-Z, we're going to be having a fundraiser, and we're going to let people meet you, and they're going to be paying, $5,000 a plate just to be in the room, right? Like, little things like that, right? So again, to me, if they wanted to do this, I would say, look, we need to treat this like this is the presidential campaign. Let's get together. Let's call our 100 best friends. Let's get a group of people that can call on our behalf and tell everybody from John Legend to Oprah, hey, we're doing this. We're going to save our schools. We're going to make a point to white folks that we run this shit, that these are our schools, and we're not going to let our schools suffer. You see, if a child is out there hungry and starving, and you the parent of that child, and you repping that child, and you like, that's my baby, and your baby out here starving and dirty and stinking and malnourished, that makes you look like a damn fool. That makes you look stupid. These are our universities, and our universities are dying. Our universities are struggling. Our universities are broken than a motherfucker. Can't even, our kids got so much damn debt, they just drowning in debt, coming out, trying to go out and do something in the world. You can't do nothing because you got a mortgage, you ain't even got a house. You got a mortgage at 22 and don't even own a house. And our celebrities are like, we just gonna sit up here, we just gonna shake it, we just gonna shake it. Well, after you finish shaking it, write a goddamn check, man. Get your 100 best friends and get each of those 100 best friends to help you raise $1 million each. They can either write a check, or they can get people together that will write checks, or they can get on their Instagrams and tell everybody on their Instagram to write a check, whatever they want to do, and raise $100 million to endow our leading HBCUs, or actually to financially support those that are struggling the most, the ones that are struggling the most. Because I'm serious. How am I going to act like I'm repping for you? Like, I'm repping HBCUs. I'm doing videos. I'm using the HBCU marching bands and all this other stuff. I'm supposed to be repping for you, but you sitting there on welfare. Our HBCUs are on welfare. They rely on government support. That should embarrass you. That's why Donald Trump don't respect your black ass, because he's like, if you really have the same power and authority as white people, then white people, we support our institutions. When we want our Catholic Church to have, big, beautiful steeples or whatever, we raise money, and we raise 20 million for that church. When Notre Dame burned down, we raised $1 billion in 24 motherfucking hours. Y'all Negroes can't raise $1 billion unless Disney puts out a movie. Disney put out the Black Panther. Yeah, y'all, you did it then. You came up with about $700 to $1 billion to see a damn movie, but you'll never come up with $700 to $1 billion to see some damn education. And that's what your problem is. That's where we need to get better. And I say we, because I'm talking about all of us. I'm not pointing no fingers. I'm not talking down on nobody. This ain't what I'm doing. I'm not criticizing or attacking Beyonce and Jay-Z at all. I will reiterate 1 billion times that I think that they are extraordinarily talented. I love what they're doing. What I'm trying to do is challenge you the way my daddy used to challenge me to push our game to a higher level. You can't play the game of global economic warfare if you ain't ready to play with the big dogs. If you ain't ready to play with the big dogs, you need to stay your ass on the porch. Stop asking for equality. Stop asking for respect. Stop asking for people to give you dignity when you don't even give yourself dignity. Dignity means that if you're repping something, you take care of the thing that you're repping. If those are my kids, then I make sure my kids are clean. I make sure my kids are fed. I make sure my kids are safe. If they're not clean, if they're not safe, if they're hungry, then that falls on me. If I claim to rep, if I'm a man and I'm repping a woman, because y'all know this, how many of y'all know some dude that's showing up at some woman's house for sex every week, but she at home can't even pay the bills and got kids that are hungry and she's barely getting by, and he's doing all right, and he's coming by to get the sex, and he's saying that's my woman, but your woman is damn near homeless because she can't pay no bills. Well, that's not a real man. I mean, no, maybe nobody told you that. I mean, I'm not, if you're one of those guys, I'm not trying to offend you, but I'm just telling you, like, don't get mad when some other man comes by and takes your woman because you're not truly repping and respecting, showing respect to the thing that you claim to be yours. You're claiming that your woman, but she don't look like she's your woman, because if she was your woman, you would be a partner in helping her to secure the lifestyle to which she deserves to become accustomed, right? You will be helping her to do that. And the fact that you're not doing that means that you're not a man, which means other men won't respect you. And that's why a dude's gonna walk up on her and be like, "Hey, girl, you got a man?" And she's gonna be like, "Yeah, I got a man." He's gonna be like, "Well, you got a man, then why is your check engine light still on in your car? If you got a man, then why is it that your oil needs to be changed and your oil ain't got changed? Why is it that you struggling like this and you supposed to have a man? Seriously, like another man will clown you for that. So the same way a man will clown another man for having a woman that's supposed to be yours, but you ain't really taking care of her and looking out for her, we get clowned as a community because we claim that those are supposed to be our schools. We repping them. We talking about HBCUs, I love the bands, blah, 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 blah. And your damn schools can't even pay the damn bills. But when Disney put out a movie, y'all making it rain on Walt Disney. Y'all making it rain on some old white people that don't give a shit about you, but you won't even go take care of your own schools. You should be ashamed of yourself. We should be ashamed of ourselves as Black people. We should be ashamed of our celebrities. Hit the thumbs up button, please. Please hit the thumbs up button. And I got to go in a second because I'm going to go. Alicia told me I have till 8:30, or which is 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, to go up and eat dinner. If she tells me to eat dinner, I do what she says. Y'all might think I'm simping, but when you get a fine, intelligent Black woman that loves you that much, you better do what the hell she tells you to do. So we submit to each other. We have respect for each other, and I'm very proud of that. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, if you have iTunes on your phone, please look up my name on iTunes. The podcast is on iTunes. Also, if you want to buy books or flashcards for your kids for this summer, financial flashcards or financial workbooks, you can go to financialworkbooks.com or financialflashcards.com, financialworkbooks.com or financialflashcards.com. The summer is coming, so I hope that you will push your children to do better next year. You say you like my shirt. Well, if you actually want to get shirts like this, we have a website, blackwealthtees.com, blackwealthtees.com. So that's TES. So feel free to go to blackwealthtees.com if you want to get a shirt like this. Every penny helps us to do more of this. And you guys see me every day, so you know that I'm serious about this. I want us to really elevate our thinking as a community. So last thing I'll say on this is this. Look, people talk bad about Bill Cosby. People have kind of forgotten about him. They threw him in prison, threw away the key. They act like he never did anything good for anybody in his life. And I'm not going to defend Bill Cosby in every sense. I don't know what Bill Cosby did in his personal life. I just know that I don't believe he should be in prison, because I believe that to send somebody in prison, you actually have to have proof. I mean, think about it. There's so many white people who've done horrible things, but because they couldn't prove it, they couldn't lock them up. And so to me, if that rule applies to white folks, it should apply to everybody. And I think with Black men, that rule does not apply. Black men don't get justice in America. That's why it's very, very important for you to warn your sons in the whole Me Too era that he needs to be careful about which women he spends his time with, because all that needs to happen is one white woman to tell one lie on him, one crazy white woman. He runs into one crazy white woman who tells a lie on him. He could be in prison for 20 years and there won't be anything you could do about it. So with that being said, as bad as we want to talk about Bill Cosby, and Beyonce rolls with the feminists like the Oprahs and stuff like that. They're quick to destroy a Black man. They're quick to go after Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, maybe for good reason. I don't think R. Kelly's a good guy, but they're quick to kind of destroy a Black man. But to me, the question is, okay, you're quick to destroy Bill Cosby, but can you outdo Bill Cosby? Because check this out, Bill Cosby gave $20 million to Spelman College. He gave $20 million to a women's school in the 1980s. $20 million in that at that time is equivalent to about $40 million today. So I need you to find me Oprah, Gail, Beyonce, whoever, all the women that want to distance themselves from Cosby and act like he never did nothing good. I'm asking you, can you do what Cosby did? Because last time I checked, I could get 50 of y'all in a room, and y'all can't do what Cosby did and his wife did all by themselves. Bill Cosby and Camille blew y'all away in terms of showing real love and real support. Why? Well, because they understood that all that yapping only goes so far. At some point, in every revolution, in every movement, somebody got to write a damn check. Somebody has to write a check, and Camille and Bill understood that. Somebody has to write a check. So you can rep HBCUs all you want. You can put the images in your videos. You can sit with the marching band and shake your ass. But those babies, those kids going to that school still ain't gonna have enough money to eat. They're still gonna be buried in debt. They're still not gonna be able to get an adequate education. They're still gonna have not have the resources that they deserve. Why? Well, because we got a lot of people that do a lot of talking, and they don't do a lot of actual investment in our young people. Now if I was able to do what Beyonce does, believe me, I would have no problem being held accountable. I have given money to schools, Freedom Home Academy International. I have a scholarship there in the name of my grandmother. I've spoken at schools. I've helped raise money for schools, and I'll do more of it. I'll raise money for your school. If you got a Black-owned school and you're trying to make money, then yes. Hold on. So you're yelling at me. What's all like yelling? Anyway, so at the end of the day, I will say that we have to figure out what support really means, right? Support doesn't mean a whole lot if you're depending on white people to take care of your institutions. If you need Donald Trump to approve the money that will keep your schools alive, then you kind of deserve to be disrespected because you're claiming something that truly isn't yours. So that's it. All right, so I'm about to go. I know, right? Justin said you better not tell her to hold on. I know, all that damn yelling. She was literally up on the top of the steps yelling for me. We're gonna have to have a talk. I know, right? I feel like I used to feel when my mama used to tell me I had to come in the house. Well, so anyway, I better go. She's patient enough, and her cooking is so good. So I'm about to go eat it. We're about to throw down up in mud. Okay, so anyway, please hit the thumbs up button. If you're on Facebook, please share this video. Also, if you want to support intelligent Black media, please go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. Also, another reminder, we're going to make an announcement very soon about the time and dates and everything for the All Black National Convention. The All Black National Convention will be in September. It will be in Houston. So get ready to travel to Houston in September for the convention. You're going to love it. It will be amazing. And you guys are going to have a great time. So let me get out of here. If you want to buy books or anything, go to blackfinancialintelligence.com. That's blackfinancialintelligence.com. And I'm out of here. Let me go eat before I get in trouble. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Oh.